Never fear, viewers, because I am here. Yes, we are talking My Hero Academia, and I am Biggles. And so basically, I got into this anime because I was playing the video game, and I decided that I wanted to watch it. And it's actually really cool because I grew up watching superheroes. I've loved superheroes my whole life. And superheroes have been getting really shitty. So I haven't been enjoying superheroes as much. And then I found this show, which is superheroes. And not only are they superheroes, they are learning how to be superheroes. So it is totally cool to me that we get to see the progression of how they started all the way to the final chapters that are coming up. And season 7 is coming out next month. So I figured I would rewatch the series, and we would jump into it as we go. Now, season 1 starts off with young Midoriya, as he's called by All Might, and he is in, I believe, class or something like that, and they're learning these hero stuff. Well, they're not actually in a hero class in the very beginning, but they're learning like their basic stuff, and they're talking about going to wanting to go to UA, and Bakugo right behind me is also in that class where it is all about regular school. And it goes on from there. They run into All Might and a sludge villain. The sludge villain captures Bakugo, and Bakugo tries to kill him. And even though Midoriya does not have a quirk, actually, I should talk about quirks before we go into this. So this is a world where 80% of the world has this like extra factor, extra gene. It's called the quirk gene. The quirk is what gives them the powers. And what's really cool about quirks in this is there's a lot of quirks that have powers for characters for powers that I've not seen a lot. Like Sero, I think is his name. He's the tape hero, and he has tape. You see him a lot, or that's a power I haven't seen. I haven't seen someone with like tape. I've seen people like Kirishima over here who has hardening. I haven't seen someone who has sticky balls. Yeah, that's why grape juice or something like that. I don't know. Grape brush. I don't know. I just call him the little purple pervert because his entire character is that he's a pervert and he has like no redeeming qualities at all. So I just call him the purple pervert. And he throws sticky balls. We have zero gravity right here with Uraraka. We have super speed with Tenya, and then we have one of a frog. And now I have seen superheroes that have the power of frogs, so it is not that different. But Earjack Girl, who's not in the picture, she has the power to use her ear to listen to stuff. So that's a power I've never seen before personally. We have characters who have electrical powers. So we have a whole bunch of other powers that have been seen before, but we do have some that aren't. So that is kind of cool. I really enjoy that. But I started playing My Hero Ultra Rumble, which is a battle royale version of My Hero. And I got into it because instead of having to go pick up guns, you would just be leveling up your quirks, but you could fight right away. You didn't have to go find a gun, and if you didn't find a gun, you automatically died. So I actually enjoyed the combat fighting, and they all had these movesets. Now, I didn't know any of these characters. I didn't know their skills, and Deku's kit was actually spoilers. And we're in my rewatch, I'm season 5 right during the Bakugo fight against Class A versus Class B. So I think I'm 8 episodes into season 5 in my rewatch. So I still haven't finished the rewatch. But so like Black Whip was spoiled for me, and basically the other stuff wasn't. Like I'd be like, oh, I've know who these characters are from the game, but like nothing was really spoiled other than Midoriya's moveset, right? Like what abilities he has with his quirk. Um, but yeah, so episode season one. Let's see if I have season one right here in this episode guide. Okay, so season one, we find out Midoriya and okay, so season one through three, or sorry, season one, episodes 1 through 3 are basically Midoriya getting his power, meeting All Might, who he's worshipped his entire life, saving Bakugo, who has never respected him as a person until they have their fight in season 4, I think it is. Yeah, in season 4 they have their fight, and that's when they make up. So it's all about Midoriya learning everything to get this power. And then he goes, and even powerless, he goes and tries to save Bakugo, inspiring All Might, who's already at his limit because he has a wound from a fight he had 5 years before the start of the series. And he goes in, and All Might comes back even after his timeout where he has no more power, and saves Bakugo, inspired by Midoriya. So he says, without a quirk, you can't be a hero. But All Might can pass his quirk on, which is All for One, which is passed down by generation and generation. I saw the little hearts. So someone is here clicking the hearts. So hello, chat. You are here. Yes, you are here. So thank you for being here, chat. Beyond Plus Ultra, says West. Exactly. We go Plus Ultra here in chat and on stream. Now, I think the school that he ends up going to, UA, is Ultra Academy. I am here. I am. Yes. I am here. Exactly. Yeah. I almost had a clip for it, but I forgot where I put it. So I didn't put it on my computer. But I do have on my phone, I have All Might's ringtone somewhere where it's like, a phone call is here. A phone call is here. So when I get a phone call sometimes, I have that go off on my phone. So I do really like the show, even though some of my friends hate it for some reason. And it could be that Deku is kind of like a whiny little fuck. And so he gets the power. Now, I want to spend a little bit time talking about Black Clover while we talk about this. And the reason why is because I always say Deku and Asta for Black Clover are very similar. Deku in quirks, like Deku had no quirk, Asta had no magic. Quirks are very important in this world, and in magic, or in Black Clover, Asta, magic was everything. They even say it in every episode almost. Magic is everything, a boy with none, right? And I kind of want to talk about the differences. Like, Asta in Black Clover is very, very dumb, right? But he works very hard and makes up for everything, like physically. Where Deku is very, very smart and lacks a lot of the physicality, which is why he can't handle the power of One for All. And I just kind of like think about it through like watching the series. Both Deku and Asta end up messing up their arms, and they're like, you know what? I'll just use my feet, right? So they're very similar, like character dynamics. But if Deku had the work ethic of Asta and still had his brains, he would have been like All Might when All Might was able to master One for All very fast. And I think if Asta, even if he didn't have Deku's brains, would have been able to master One for All like really quick. Because unlike Deku, Asta had a goal, knew it was going to be very hard because he had very limited magic, and worked as hard as he could to get to where he wanted. And Deku didn't do it until All Might was like, "Yeah, you have 10 months to get this power, or it will kill you, or it will kill you to get it." So All Might trains Midoriya for 10 months, and even throughout the show, you only see Deku really working on his like strength to be able to use One for All better, only like 3 or 4 times in like the first 5 seasons. So Deku's biggest problem is he doesn't work on the physicality, and he just studies all the mental. Now, with the power that he has, it's more important that he works on his physicality rather than his mental state. And Bakugo even calls him out on like his fighting style, because even though he's taking all these notes, he's still very predictable and doesn't change anything up. And he changed it one time in 5 seasons. So he may be very smart, but he doesn't apply it correctly during the fight. He just thinks throughout the entire fight, making himself very predictable. So I am done talking about the difference between Asta and Deku. So now we're going to go back to the episodes. So season 1, after the first 3 episodes where he finds out that he can have a power and he gets All Might's power, we enter UA Academy, where Deku has to go through the tests. Bakugo also goes through the test, and he passes. He's first in the test. So season 1 is basically you're meeting class 1A. You have a couple of fights in 1A, or in you have a couple of fights in season 1, and basically at the end of it, you're meeting the League of Villains, and All Might fights and ends up like saving them at the USJ's building where they were going to train rescue. There is no real deaths in season 1. It is more lighthearted in season 1. As the show progresses, it gets darker and darker and darker. So season 1, we meet all the characters in 1A. We start to learn about their characters, but we don't really jump into who they are as characters until season 2. Yes, that All Might fight versus the Nomus were really good. You said his power was shock absorbent, not shock nullification. So I just have to beat the crap out of him until he stops. And that's what All Might does to the Nomu. And we also learn Shigaraki thinks this is a video game, and he's kind of a stuck-up brat. Now, once that is done, we get into season 2. Now, season 2 is probably my favorite season overall. We really get our character backstories. We get the sports festival, which is just fun overall. Bakugo just comes up and was like, "Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm going to win," right? And that was it. He was like, and everybody was like, "Oh, I hate you, Bakugo," and he wins. He just goes in there, but you get the cavalry battle, and I've never heard of cavalry battles until I watched this. And then I've watched like other shows like Assassination Classroom and a couple other animes. And I guess like cavalry battles are like just something they do in Japan. And I've never heard of them. And I wish we would have done these when I was younger, because these look so cool. Like I was like, oh, this is awesome. Even though they have like superpowers and they're like doing it different than you would actually do it. It just looked so fun that I was like, oh man, I wish I did this when I was younger. So cavalry battles are really cool. So I really like watching this. And then you start to see that Uraraka is starting to like Deku, and Deku is still super awkward around girls. But we also learn that Tenya, sorry, he's over here, class rep, is his brother gets hurt by the hero killer Stain. Now, his brother still survives, but Tenya ends up taking his hero name in his place. Now, they end up going to, I think Soto. What is it called? What is the name of the place? Hoto? Hiroka? I don't know. They say the name like all the time. What is the name? Hoso. Okay, the city of Hoso, right? So they go to the city of Hoso where they meet Hero Killer Stain. So Tenya ends up taking an internship in Hoso so he can go avenge his brother. So this is where we first see Ida fall from grace of the hero path. He is just so fueled with hate and wants revenge for what happened to his brother. Now, back in season 1, there was a test between Bakugo, Tenya versus Uraraka and Deku. And I know I'm going back to season 1, but Tenya embraced the role of the villain and didn't he stuck to his assignment as the villain. And throughout everything, he wants to be a good hero. He wants to be just like his brother. And this is when, in season 2, we see that he falls and he stops being this hero that hero killer Stain is like, well, then you die too, kid. I wasn't going to kill you because you're not a fake hero. You're just a kid. And Tenya almost dies, and Deku saves the day. Now, lucky for Deku, Todoroki and Endeavor, Todoroki's father, end up going to Hoso too because they know about the hero killer, so they are going looking for the hero killer. Well, Endeavor is. And lucky for Deku, Todoroki ends up figuring out that he was just sending his location because something was up. So Todoroki runs from his father and goes, I have to check this out, gives him the address where he's going. And they end up, Todoroki saves Deku right at the last second because we find out that Hero Killer Stain has a ability that when he drinks your blood, he is able to freeze you. Now, that is unsanitary and unsafe. Who knows? Hero Killer Stain could have AIDS or any other STD by taking the blood of other people. So congratulations. This show is not for kids, even though it's very much a younger audience. And I think that's why a lot of people make fun of this show, is because it is like a younger audience, but it does have some immature stuff that shouldn't be. Let's be real. He has all the STDs. Yeah, and you know what? Toga could too, because Toga drinks blood. So yeah, Toga could have it too. I like how this is where I go in my My Hero Academia. It gets most of the hate because of the fan base. Yeah, because they're annoying. I learned that from playing My Hero Ultra Rumble. Let's be honest. But yeah, so we have Hero Killer Stain fighting. Oh yeah, Deku's internship was with Gran Torino. So that is All Might's old teacher, and that is the person who ends up teaching him how to use not all for one. That's the villain. One for all. He ends up teaching him how to use One for All. So it's like an egg in the microwave is what Deku's been calling it at this time. And then Gran Torino is like, it's like pastries in the microwave. Do you get it now? And he's like, yes. Okay, I get it. Whatever. It's just ridiculous. And so throughout this, they're fighting, and the heroes end up showing up and saving Earth. Deku ends up defeating them before the heroes show up, and by the time the heroes show up, they start getting everybody out. But they get in trouble with the police because they don't have their license. So even though they're on an internship, they're not allowed to use their powers to hurt anybody, which is kind of dumb to me, because if you're working as in like an intern and you have to do stuff that involves the job, it's kind of dumb to me that you can't do something. But whatever, these are the rules they set up, and that's the rules they have to live by. So they get in trouble with the police department unless, because they stop the hero killer Stain, unless they give all the glory to Endeavor, that they are not going to get in trouble. So they basically give it all to Endeavor because he has the flame burns from Todoroki. So they end up doing some. They get in trouble with Mr. Aizawa, Eraserhead, and that's about it. And then they end up meeting more of the. Or wait, what happens then? Oh, then they have their final exams after that. So once they have their final exams, you get to see them fight against their teachers, and we find out that the little purple pervert over here, him being a pervert actually helps him pass his tests because he knew everything about their teacher Midnight and was able to escape and beat her using his pervert powers. Yeah, so. Good for you, you little pervert. You actually did something good for once in your life, other than being weird and hated by all your classmates and almost everybody else. And then we find out that Momo Yazura, I can't even say her name anymore. Yazuro. I was able to say it earlier. I'm going to give up. Momo, Creati, as her hero name is, she has, or throughout the season, we found out that she has like insecurities about her indecisions, insecurities about her indecision to make plays. But she ends up following Shoto's idea and then running back to him. And her plan to beat Eraserhead ends up being better than Shoto's, and they end up beating Eraserhead. So they end up passing their finals due to Momo's ability and brains. So you see her grow throughout this season to being super insecure to now I have more faith in myself, more confidence, which is what Eraserhead set them up as a team for, because he knew how to beat Todoroki's plan, and then she had a plan to come back, and they figured it out, and they were able to win based on her strategy rather than his. So as a good teacher, Mr. Aizawa figured out how to get the best out of these two people. And then you have your other heroes pass the test, and then we get Bakugo's backstory, and basically Bakugo just wants to win. He's paired up with Deku. They paired him up with Deku because they don't get along, but they have to find a way to work together to get better, and they need to be better as a team so they can help themselves grow mentally and fix their weaknesses. So they have to fight All Might. Now, both of these boys admire All Might so much, and Bakugo wants to surpass All Might. And All Might has chosen Deku to be his successor. So Deku just wants to run away, while Bakugo wants to prove that he's powerful enough to try to stand a fight against All Might, the most powerful hero the world has ever known. And they end up compromising to fight All Might enough till they're able to escape. And Bakugo basically sacrifices himself to win it. And Deku goes back for him. And they both make it out rather than just one escaping, rather than just one. So you see a change in dynamic a little bit in their relationship starting to happen now. Once Bakugo got it through Deku's thick head that you have to be able to fight rather than run all the time. Like sometimes the only way to run is to fight, right? So that was good. And then we get an episode where they run into Shigaraki in the like mall or whatever, and he basically like threatens them and some other stuff. And then we get to season 3. Season 3 is kind of cool. I kind of like season 3, season 2 and season 3. I really enjoy. Season 3 starts off as they go to a training camp, and they meet a little kid named Koda. I think that's his name, Koda. Yeah. And he punches Deku in the balls, which was really funny to me because Deku was like, hi. And he's like, I don't like heroes. Boom. It just sometimes Deku deserves it. And I laughed really hard about that because even though Deku's really nice, sometimes he deserves what he gets, you know? And we meet the Go-Go Pussycats or Wild Go something like that. Some weird thing. I actually met, I think 3 of them. 3 of the girls who play the Pussycats. I met the one who loses her powers, Ragdoll, and I met 2 of them, and I met Pixie Pop. So I met 2 of them, like the voice actress for them. And they learn to really use their powers and training throughout this training camp. But this is where the League of Villains attacks once again. And we really learn the backstory of Koda, the little boy, and why he hates heroes. And Deku has to learn that some people hate heroes. So I think it's very important that Koda is in the story in order for Deku to learn more. This character is very important to that story. And find out that Kodo's parents died trying to rescue people. So that's why he hates heroes, because he was abandoned by his parents because they died rather than they just left him. And so he hates heroes. And we find out that the villain Muscular, who is about to kill him, Koda gets saved by Deku. And he keeps being told by his aunt that one day he'll meet someone and he'll understand why heroes are needed, why someone will be this way. And that just turns out to be Deku. Now, Deku meets a guy that, even though Deku hit him with 100% one-for-all power, he still survives. So that is All Might's full strength with that one shot. And Deku breaks his arm again and is unable to keep fighting. But he wants to protect this kid so bad that he's able to break even 100%. I think he goes like times 1,000,000 or something like that, and just completely rocks this guy and smashes him in. And he finds out that this villain just kills for fun, right? He just kills for fun. I killed them because they were in my way. I want like really sadistic kind of guy. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll kill you. I'll bring you back to your parents, you know? And Koda has his quirk where he shoots water at him that distracts him long enough that Deku's able to defeat him. And after that, Koda learns that at least he has one hero he can like, and that is Deku. We also get to see some Class B standouts like Tetsu and Kendo when they're helping fight the League of Villains in the forest when they attack. We also get to see Dark Shadow at full strength in the night, destroying some of these bad guys, and then finding a way to get Shoto and Bakugo to lower his power due to his weakness to light. So we find out that they can work together when it comes to danger just to win. And now this is a very important part of Bakugo's start of his like arc, because he gets captured by the League of Villains, and Deku's unable to stop him, so he blames himself, and it starts to go a little downhill from there. Now, once they get that, what happens here? Oh, okay. So once that happens, they start to plan on how to get Bakugo back. And the kids are disobeying the adults again, the pro heroes and the teachers, telling them, don't do anything. We got this. And this leads to one of the best fights in the show. So what we have here going on is they're trying to rescue Bakugo because the League of Villains are trying to recruit him. And Bakugo seems like a lot going up to this. Bakugo seems like he would be a villain. So we have Bakugo here. Hold on, give me a second. It's too hot. Sorry. We have Bakugo, who basically seems like a villain the whole time. He's loud, aggressive. He's mean to his friends. He's mean to his classmates. He calls everybody extras. So leading up to this point, you can tell why they hired him, or not hired him. They tried to recruit him and kidnapped him to turn him into one of them. But Bakugo has the desire to be the best. He wants to surpass All Might because he looks up to All Might more than anybody else in this world. So Bakugo's like, screw you extras. Yeah, explosion, murder, kill face. No, it's explosion, murder, explosive murder god, something. I guess the guy Tiger, maybe, I don't know. I don't understand. But they have so whatever. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're starting back, but they're 432 now on the Billboard charts, but we haven't got there yet. So let's see. We have where was I? Yeah, so they're trying to recruit Bakugo, and Bakugo's like, no. He says some colorful words too, but that's not what we're going to say here, because I don't remember the exact words. So All Might breaks in, and so does some other heroes, and they start fighting to free Bakugo. And they get Bakugo back, and somehow they manage to warp Bakugo out, and now they're fighting more Nomus, and Endeavor is killing a lot of them down below, and we get some cool fights there. and then Mount Lady and all them get a little bit messed up as the League of Villains come back to that side. And we find our heroes after playing dress up, and as Kirishima says, Rich Girl just wants to go shopping, and they disguise themselves, and Midori and Tenya look goofy as hell, just super goofy, and they go into where they're not supposed to go, and they're outside the Nomu factory. And we have All Might speed through and get there. And he's winning. The heroes are winning the fight, but then All For One shows up. Now, All For One is the big bad. And he steals all the quirks of people and then gives them to other people. And he shows up and he completely starts messing everything up. And All Might comes in to fight All For One. And All Might is getting close to his limits. So he only has a certain amount of time left to fight in order to save Bakugo and them. Well, All Might can't fight to full strength because he's worried that he might hurt Bakugo. So Bakugo is fighting the rest of the League of Villains by himself, while All For One is fighting All Might. And Deku comes up with a plan to save Bakugo without fighting like they're not supposed to. And it all relies on Kirishima, because Kirishima is the only one Bakugo respects as an equal and as a friend in the entire class. So they set it up and they go and they do this really cool thing with the ice and the speed, and they get Bakugo, and they are able to escape. And then we get this really cool. I'll be there Wednesday morning. I'll get there around 12. I just haven't shaved. I'm shaving in a little bit. As you can tell, I can't grow facial hair. So like all right here is blank. I got plenty right here that's like patchy. I got plenty right here that's patchy. So I'm shaving like tomorrow because I'm like leaving. So I just kind of left it, because if I just started shaving, I'd have like little, like maybe just little annoying parts come Wednesday and Thursday when I'm there. And I won't be shaving while I'm here. So we're off subject. Thank you, JT. So then we're now we get the fight. We get the cool fight, right? Now that Bakugo is out of the way, All Might can fight at full strength against All For One. And this fight is great. During the fight, All Might loses his muscle form, and everybody's watching. And don't worry, I get distracted all the time. If anybody talks in chat, I get distracted because I want to read what you say and I want to reply back to you. That's why I should pre-record all of these and just have them as premiere so I can talk to everybody in the chat. But that's neither here or there. So All Might goes back into his weakened form, and he's not his super muscular All Might form that you see in the thumbnail. So we have All Might here, where he's now in a weakened state. And All For One's like, is that all you got? And he goes to kill All Might. And All Might hears all the people basically calling out for him. All Might, you got to win. Because he is the symbol of peace. And he turns one arm super big and punches, and then drops it, goes to the left hand, punches again, and then comes back with a United States of Smash and comes in full power, right fist only, comes in, punches him, throws him deep into the ground, winning the fight. And it was super cool. Like, hell yeah, All Might. And All Might's voiced by my favorite voice actor. So, like, All Might is like, yeah, like super cool. And All Might just smashes all for one, and they're able to capture him. If you ask me, they should have killed him, and that would have basically ended the show. But they're like, no, we're going to keep going. We're going to leave him alive because the heroes aren't going to kill him. Like, you definitely should have killed him. And we just have a whole bunch of badass fights in season 3. And then after that, season 3 gets some more cool stuff. So season 3 and season 2 are like 2 of my favorite seasons in here. 4 and 5 are okay, but they're not as good as 2 and 3. And then 6 is where it really starts to get dark, and I kind of like 6. So we get the test. Now, the test is so they can get their license, so they're able to fight in situations where they need to fight. And this is where we meet Sugetsu High, something like that. Seketsu High. We meet Joke, who apparently wants to marry Aizawa, which is a really funny dynamic because he's like super serious and he doesn't like to laugh. And she's like, you need me in my life or in your life. You need a good laugh. And he's like, that sounds like a nightmare. And the dynamic between those two is super funny to me. So I really appreciate that. But you also get to have a lot of cool other heroes that you don't really get to see. One of them gets to come back, I think, in season 6. Now, I haven't got to season 6 again in my replay or my rewatch, so I probably won't remember season 6 as well. Hi, Spirian. So I probably won't remember it as well as when I did. I'll probably just use these little guides that I have up on this screen right here. And we end up having the test, and we have one that completely ruins everybody's plans by using his abilities to vibrate the ground and sends everybody else everywhere, and they're able to get everybody in different groups. So throughout this, you get to see each member of Class 1A shine. So each member of Class 1A has something special about themselves, like all these other people with their quirks, all these other heroes, and they're able to use that and work together. And you see all the character growth of the characters that you started to see, all their weaknesses in season 2, and what they were, what they really needed to work on. And during this test, you see them start to shine. You see Bakugo start to work well with others. Him, Kirishima, and Kaminari work together, and it's actually pretty cool to watch their fight because they go against this this dickhead who has a quirk called Meatball, and he's just kind of like, I'm better than all of you, so you have to be like me kind of guys. And Bakugo kicks his ass, by using Kaminari to like damage him and stuff, while handing over one of Bakugo's little explosive things. So we have that, and then we find out that Toga is disguised as Kami and trying to get as much, steal Izuku Midoriya's blood and try to knock him out of the tournament as well. I don't know why she was in there, but she ends up going in there so she can find something, like more info on Midoriya, but I think she just wanted more of his blood so she could pretend to be him later. And then we get the finale of the first big fight, like the battle royale. So funny enough, they have a battle royale in this show in season 3, which I'm talking about now. And they have their own battle royale game, My Hero Academia, or My Hero Ultra Rumble. And the funny thing is, they might have it now as a map, but they didn't have it as a map going in. So I think because this was the Battle Royale, they should have had this as the first map rather than the USJ. But that was what they were doing. So they ended up going with the USJ, but they have the Battle Royale and Can't Stop Twinkling, who is like one of my least favorite characters, probably because he speaks French sometimes, and you know what we think about the French, okay? So he's like, I heard your dream, Tenya. That's not how he speaks, but he's like, I heard your dream and it inspired me. So he shoots out his belly laser in order to draw everybody to him so Tenya can at least get points. Well, there are 12 spots left, or 13 spots left, and there's 12 members of Class A left. Well, Cammy gets one of those spots, who might still be Toga at this point in time. And then we have, let's see who hasn't gone yet. We have Tenya, who still needs to go. We have Can't Stop Twinkling. We have Minetta, I think, didn't go yet. Tape Guy went with. Did Tape Guy go with? I think Zero went with. All right, well, it's not important, but the rest of Class A comes together. Pinky's one of them. Class A comes together, and they end up passing. So they all get to round 2. Now, round 2 is the rescue. Now, apparently, you lose points based on what you say when you show up to a thing. So Deku walks up and goes, "This looks really bad." And the guy goes, "This looks really bad? That's how you're going to start? That's a minus points." And so they get minus points for doing this. And everybody knows how aggressive Bakugo is at this point. So Bakugo's like, "Get yourself some help. Just go to the point." Like, starts yelling at him. And they're like, "Oh, well, we're not really hurt, so maybe he noticed that." And he said, no, Bakugo is just being a dick, right? So Bakugo basically fails the test due to how mean he is to people that he's rescuing. So he gets under the point. But Todoroki fails, who is their best classmate, like the strongest in the class, even though he's been bested by Bakugo. That was mainly because Todoroki wouldn't go his full power to fight, because he's trying not to be like his father, which is funny enough because Bakugo was acting more like Todoroki's father in that fight than like Todoroki ever behaves like Endeavor. So I thought that was kind of cool to see. And the wind guy from Shiketsu? I forget how to say the name. They end up fighting Gang Orca, who's the villain for the test, and they both end up failing because they were getting in each other's way, fighting each other, rather than teaming up and communicating to win the test. So basically, the rest of season 3 is finishing off the test, and then we have the fight between Deku and Bakugo. This is their second fight. This is where we learn that Bakugo doesn't know how to express his feelings correctly, and the only way he really knows how to do it is by fighting. So him and Deku have a fight. Bakugo finds out that All Might gave his power to Deku, and he starts questioning himself why. Like, if it wasn't for me getting captured, All Might would still have his powers. I think does he find out right? I think he might have found out actually in 4. No, he finds out like I think he finds out in 3. Sometime in 3. I think it's like the last episode or whatever. So they have their fight, and Mr. Aizawa punishes them, and they're now under house arrest. That fight was actually really cool, and you got to see some cool stuff by Bakugo that you hadn't seen already. And Midoriya finally started changing up his fighting patterns a little bit, and now they become true rivals rather than guys that are just competing with each other that hate each other like with all their might. Then we meet twice. We met him earlier, but now we really get to like know his character, and he ends up seeing like Overhaul, who's going to be the big bad in the start of season 4. And then we meet Togakun. Why can't I say his name? My favorite character. He's part of the big 3. Togata. Or Lemillion. Because he's going to save that many people. And he kicks the crap out of the entire Class 1A with his power permeation. And we learned that he is going to be, or he was supposed to be the successor of All Might. And he works harder than anyone else in this entire show, except maybe Endeavor to be the best. Season 4, we meet Overhaul, the guy the girls thirst over as if they were like he was a chick and they were Mineta. That is Overhaul, right? They all thirst over him like they are Mineta, and that is a girl, right? So women, I know you do this, okay? So you're just like him, unfortunately for you. Now this episode 1 of season 4, you actually meet this journalist, and I don't know if this is an important episode or not, but there is another stranger who's like a journalist who goes in, and he doesn't give them the story that he said he was going to go. And he tells Deku, like he finds out that Deku is the successor of All Might, and he tells him that I can't wait till the new symbol of peace comes through, and I can't wait to see you as that. So he takes a picture with him, and he's like, I'm going to write a book about you when the new symbol of peace was young, right? And we meet Overhaul, who has a daughter named Eri, and she has a quirk that rewinds time. So Overhaul keeps like killing her and putting her back together to stop her quirk, and uses it to create bullets to take away quirks. Now, I don't think season 4 is as good as season 2 or 3, but season 4 has some of my favorite characters get episodes. Like Red Riot, I think it's 2. Red Riot gets 2 episodes in here where he's the main guy. And Kirishima is my favorite character, so I love getting 2 characters for him. And then Vermilion gets basically Vermilion gets multiple episodes, Togata, and he is my second favorite. So my first favorite and my second favorite character in the show gets multiple episodes in season 4. So if I was basing season 4 based on like characters that I really like, this would be the best season, but I like 2 and 3 better based on what goes on in there. There are some really great fights in season 4. We meet Overhaul. We find out that Lemillion and Deku are going to fight to the death if they have to save Eri, because they feel like they could have saved her earlier, but they wanted to wait more because Night Eye, All Might's former sidekick, went in there. So because we're almost at an hour, I'm going to speed this up. We get Red Riot fighting and hardening and pushing past his limits, and then we get Red Riot again pushing past his limits against a guy who is way stronger than the guy he just fought, where he was pushing past his limit. And even though his great hardening didn't work, it ends up fighting. Now we get Fat Gum, who is this fat guy, and he just stores up all the fat so he can store it into power, and if he has to, knock you out with one punch, which is pretty awesome, if you ask me. Lemillion and Deku, or Lemillion fights Overhaul and even loses his power because he gets shot protecting Eri by the quirk erasing bullet. Now, he still does a lot of damage to Overhaul and the other, I think there was 2 others that were there, even without his premonition, which allows him to go through walls and stuff. So you really get to see how he trained. If he was to get One for All, he would have been able to master the power in a day because of how hard he works. And then Deku uses Eri's power and basically breaks his body so fast that he was able to use Eri's quirk to beat Overhaul. And it's a really good fight. Lemillion's fight against Overhaul was really good. It's just filled with great fights. We have an episode where Bakugo has to is forced to babysit. Endeavor and All Might have a talk where this is the start of the Endeavor redemption arc. That goes on in season 5. We have Gentle Criminal, who I really like, who is apparently not liked by the fans because he has a little fan that loves him. And I see it more as he takes care of her when she had nothing. And I see it more as a parent father-daughter thing than the way other people say it is. And then we have the school festival where they rock out and we get a song. And then we get the Billboard charts, and this is where Endeavor becomes the #1 hero. And we go into a really big fight, which is one versus Nomu and Endeavor. And we get a really cool fight once again to end the season. And Endeavor does what All Might does at the end of his fight with All for One. But instead of raising his left hand like All Might, he raised his right hand. And then we get a whole bunch of cool stuff. Then season 5, I haven't finished. I'm halfway through season 5. I'm through the first arc of season 5. But I haven't got to 6 in my rewatch. So basically, there is a lot of cool stuff in this show, and I really love superheroes. And I'm glad that I got to watch a show about superheroes. Now, let me go grab my stuff to end the show with the merch and manga, because I forgot to have it already. So let me grab 2 of the things I have here for this show. I got Hato, who's played by Lindsay who I have met. And then I have Hiroshima, who is my favorite. I need to get Lemillion. I really want to get Lemillion. I have My Hero Academia trading cards for the Universities game, which is actually pretty fun. I have the Uraraka and the Toga structure deck as well. They're somewhere, and let me go grab my mangas. So I have only read the first one of the manga so far, but I have the box set, which has the first 20. I bought 21 through 30, so I actually have these two as extra. And then I have 31 through 34, and I think 35 is out as well, but I do not have that one. So I plan on reading the manga as well. Look at that box. So I can't wait to actually read these. I have been getting spoiled from this, so kind of stinks that I got spoiled, but hey, shit happens. But that's it, guys. That is all I have for My Hero Academia. I really like the show. If you like superheroes and you like coming of age stories, then I would say give this a shot. And that is all I have for you today. So I will see you guys later. And next month, I don't know what we're going to talk about. So next month is a surprise for me as well for you. And when I get back from Vegas, Sporking and I on the Biggles and the Spork anime show, we're going to talk about Bungo Stray Dogs and some other stuff. So that will also probably be on my channel as well, mainly on Sporkings. So I will see you all later. Bye.
Biggles is here. Hi, says I could be a hooker. Biggles, will your hooker name be Bagels? Mine would be cream.